So, hello everyone, my name is Pritam Paul and welcome to another video of the playlist How to Prepare for Software Companies. तो यार आज के इस वीडियो में हम लोग बात करेंगे बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं, स्पेशली इंटर्नशिप्स के बारे में हम लोग बात करेंगे। इंटर्नशिप्स आप लोगों को क्यों चाहिए एंड मतलब डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ इंटर्नशिप्स लाइक इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग, पेड एंड अनपेड इंटर्नशिप्स, व्हाट आर द डिफरेंसेस, देन हम लोग बात करेंगे रिसर्च एंड एकेडमिक इंटर्नशिप्स, उनकी क्या ज़रूरतें हैं, आप लोग को क्यों करनी चाहिए। और उसके बाद आता है यार पीपीओस क्या होता है, पीपीआईज, एडवांटेजेस ऑफ हैविंग लॉट्स ऑफ नेटवर्क्स एंड देयर आर वेरियस थिंग्स. So without wasting the time, let's start the video, guys, and to discuss about all these topics which I have said. Obviously, there are guests here today. सो आज ये सारे टॉपिक डिस्कस करने हम लोग के साथ है अर्पण, अर्णव, शुभराज एंड उदयन, as like as the previous video. If you didn't watch that video, guys, please go to the I button and watch that video first, and after that I would recommend to watch this one. Okay, so without wasting our time, let's start the video. So first of all, I would like to request Udayan to talk about these two topics, which is the need of internships and the difference between internships and industrial training.
Yeah, so hi folks. So first let me start by saying what's basically the need for getting an internship. So basically internships gives you an opportunity to work on real world software. Software has been written to actually solve problems in our day-to-day lives. So basically in our software engineering course, we can learn to write code, we can learn to write small snippets. But with that, basically what we don't learn is how to interact with different coders, how to learn and contribute about others code base. So all those things are integral to any software engineer for their development. So internships really help a person to understand that what's actually being done in the industry, what other experienced software engineers are looking for, because as an intern, when you basically will submit your code, they'll look into it and they'll find various faults in it, which is a good thing. And you will know what basically proper code looks like in the industry, and that's basically a need of it. So that's basically from your skill point of view. If you look at from an interview cracking point of view, then also like it's important, because various companies, when they'll see a person has done an internship, they'll definitely put him in a higher priority bucket than somebody who say does not have an internship. Why? Because basically it's the same argument. That person already knows how software companies work, what kind of code will basically ship into production, and what will basically get a negative rating on a code review. So yeah, so it's very important. Okay, so now let's talk about the next topic, that is the difference between internships and industrial training. So internships are basically real world work in a software dev company, where you'll basically work on projects that will actually be deployed for a short period of time, say 2 months and 6 months. What industrial training basically does, it teaches a person some real industrial standards, coding standards, what are the different tech stacks that are being used, and they'll bring a new beginner software developer into that industrial standard where his skill set will be recognized. So basically, if you say that I have done an industrial training from so and so institute, if it's basically recognized by the software development community as a whole, they will recognize it and put you in that same higher priority bracket, saying that this person knows so and so skills and is proficient in it. So yeah.
Okay, now let's discuss about there are more two topics like types of internships, like means research or academic internships and versus industrial internships, and what are the advantages and disadvantages, which one you should choose, and another thing is paid versus unpaid internships. So to discuss about all these things, I would like to request Ornava Bhattacharya to enlighten about all topic.
Hi everyone. So broadly speaking, there are these two kinds of internships. The first one is the academic one, and the second one is the industrial. So let's go one by one of between these two and compare them. So going with the first one, which is the academic internship. So what happens is, in an academic internship, you are generally assigned a mentor, And then there is some research project in most cases where you would be working with your mentor, he would be guiding you, and then you would be doing your own research. And at the end of the internship, you will submit your research, whatever you have done, along with all the experiments and all the data that you have found out during the tenure. And finally, in most cases, it culminates with a research paper. So what happens is, since it's a research internship, many times the mentor will himself suggest you that you go ahead and you make a research paper out of it and you publish it in one of the journals. So this is the basic outline of how a academic internship works. Going forward with to the industrial internship, what happens is you generally join a company as an intern, and then you join a specific team in that company, and then you work on some existing project, or in some cases there will be a whole together new project which you will be working along with a team. So because since you are a intern, and it is the maximum chances that you are not very much aware of how the industry code looks like, so you will be not given a project that you will do totally by yourself. You will be in a team, and they will guide you and make sure that you get to learn as well as do the job which you are supposed to do. Now, there are some ways in which we can compare both these internships. So, coming to the academic one, I would say that if you love research, if you love reading, if you like theory mode, and say you have a particular interest over a particular subject in computer science, say for example, say machine learning, or say for example, say graph algorithms, then you can go ahead and see which mentor in which institute is dealing with those kind of projects and do an academic internship over there. Because then what happens is you discover whether you have that zeal of doing research and making it as a career later in your life. So for example, a lot of people give GATE exams and then other exams to try to do MTech and then PhD at a later stage. But if you do internship, if your internship itself is an academic internship, then you at least get a prototype of how research actually looks like and whether you really like it or not. Because after that internship, you will be in a better position to decide whether you should go in a research career or you should continue in a career where you will be working as a software developer. And regarding the academic internships, I would say that since you would be working in a team, then so the maximum chance is that you will understand how to collaborate, because in most cases in college, whenever you are doing any code or whenever you are writing any say assignments, you are doing it by yourself. But in an internship environment, you are working with a team. So not only you get to understand the code of the industry, but also you learn how to collaborate your work with others, communicate with others, and there are a lot of such skills which will prove very beneficial once you step outside of your college and join some company as a developer. So I would say that one internship is better than the other. Just I would like to mention here that this will help you in getting the idea like how you want your career to look like. If you get pleasure by doing research, then you can think forwards for MTech and PhD and such things. And if you like building apps and working in teams in industries, then you can go forward with the software developer roles later. Coming to the second point of paid versus unpaid internships. So here, so internships generally come in those two formats where you are either paid for the 1 month or 2 months where you are working on that particular project, or otherwise you are unpaid. Now, I would suggest personally that you should always look for paid internships, especially in places, in companies where you were hired as an intern, because then what happens is, since they are paying you, it is a must that they would give you a job which is actually useful, and you will not only will learn from it, but it will also benefit the company, and it will go into production and it will yield some benefit, because otherwise they won't be paying you just for the sake of it. For unpaid internships, I don't want to generalize it, but in some cases it can happen that since it's an unpaid internship, the work that you would get, it won't be of much value, and you won't learn a lot from the work, and also it might not be deployed at a later stage. So the priority should be for paid internships, then unpaid internships. But keep in mind that a unpaid internship is always better than no internship. So if you don't get any other options, then please go ahead with the unpaid one itself. That's all from my side.
Okay, so now let's talk about another few topics like what is the eligibility criteria to get the internship and how to approach those internships and what are the topics like PPOs, PPIs, and what is the advantage of having an internship in your profile during your BTech life. Okay, so to discuss about all these things, I would like to invite Shuvraj Bhumik to explain about all the things. Okay.
So I'll talk about this topic. So basically, the eligibility criteria for getting an internship is basically the same as that we would expect of a full-time job or a similar position. But the main point to notice or to take in point is that all these things, all these internship opportunities are a little limited compared to the full-time job roles, because all these companies only like went out a limited number of roles for interns. So a good point to keep in mind for these situations is to have a good LinkedIn profile. So from when you're in college till the third year, what you can do is have a good network that you can build up in LinkedIn, for which after which you can actually approach people and ask for reference for this internship positions. So they actually help you to get these roles easily. So moving forward, there are quite a lot of things that you need to know about what after you get an internship and what are the things that you need to keep in mind or what should be your goals. So there are just two things called PPO and PPI. PPO being the pre-placement offer and PPI be the pre-placement interview. Now, the point is that if you're able to crack an internship in a good company, like suppose FANG or anything similar, so the thing is that, as I've even noticed from my personal experience in Amazon, the interns have a like greater workload than the normal job profile or the normal job person would do. The point being that there is a great load of work that you need to complete in a very limited amount of time. So even if you're able to have a decent performance and you're able to meet the deadlines, then there's a great chance that your internship will be converted into a full-time job role. So if you are able to crack a good place or a good company to do your internship, you should always have that in mind and try to crack that and get a PP or PPI. That would help you. Yeah.
Something I would like to add here from a perspective of a smaller startup is sometimes internships are one of the best ways to interact with those companies. Startups are always usually short staffed and need people who can do specific tasks. For example, we might startup might need someone to work on a page that is used by their business team, but they cannot spare developers for. And getting an internship right there gets your foot in the door for situations like that. Sometimes these can lead to longer running internships. I have personally seen startups that have had interns that have started working in say second year of their college up till the end of their college and getting paid each month, doing tasks and helping out with the main team. And these people actually turn out to be a part of the main team in all extents but the paperwork, since they cannot be hired full-time legal. But that is always something to look out for, especially if you're reaching out to a startup who might be interested in your services as an intern.
So now the last two topics which will be discussed. The thing is tech and framework specific internships and how to boost your resume to get an internship. And the most important thing is that what interviewers look into the candidate while taking any interns. Okay, so to discuss about all these things, I would like to invite our tech lead, Mr. Arpan Das.
So I would like to talk about specifically tech-specific internships. Many times, internships are dedicated towards a particular stack or a role. This might be machine learning engineers, full stack developers, front-end engineers, back-end engineers. These internships are a great way to bolster your resume if you want to are trying to go for a specific role in your future as you join the workforce. For example, if you have a machine learning engineering internship and you want to become a machine learning engineer or go into AI research, those that will be very much helpful to you because as Udan said initially at the start of this video, that those put you at the front of that line. The moment you have those internships, the chances of you getting hired increases very much. Compared to that, if you have an internship for backend engineering role and you're applying for the same machine learning role, your preference will be more than someone who doesn't have any internships, but will be less than the person who has the specific internship, in this case, machine learning engineering. Because of that, my always suggestion is, if you have figured out that, hey, this domain of tech I want to work at, maybe machine learning, maybe backend, maybe front end, try to get internships from different sources to specific to those domains, because that over the course of long run is one of the best strategies to get your resume shortlisted and getting yourself a better chance to having a great interview experience and possibly getting the job. Now, let's talk about something a bit more subjective. What interviewers look for when hiring interns. First thing is previous internships. I know it's a catch-22 where I don't have internships, so I cannot get internships. But if you had previous internships for a similar domain, you're more likely to get an internship. Because again, you already have the experience. There's less of a knowledge level. There's less of a knowledge gap that you need to understand before you could be actually productive. Second thing, educational institutes become really important, as anyone from a tier 1 or a tier 2 college is more likely to get an internship just because they are from that specific college. Now, a question you might be asking is, hey, if I'm from a tier 3 college, what can I do? First of all, keep applying. The more you apply, the better your chances are to get an internship. Second, apply to startups. Startups usually tend, especially early stage startups, are more likely to take a chance on someone who is less experienced, doesn't have that much experience in that role, or is trying to shift. Because again, not a lot of people are applying to those particular companies. The pool of candidates that you have to compete against becomes shorter. My suggestion is, if there is a startup you'd like to work at, just send them a mail with your resume saying, hey, is there an internship opportunity for the summer or for the winter? I'm really interested in working with your startup. Usually, you should see a call back if they have an opening available. If you're trying to apply for an internship to a larger company, grades come into play, because again, being an intern, they don't expect a lot from you. They don't expect a lot of projects. They don't expect a lot of internships. But if you have those, again, you get fast track. So my advice to you, if you don't have an internship, get your grades up. If you cannot do that, build projects. Projects in that specific domain will increase your chance of getting hired as an intern drastically. Yeah, if you want to get an internship, that would be my advice to you.
So thank you so much, guys, for discussing all the things in details, and I hope the viewers would be benefited by this video. And so this is the ending part of the video. For the viewers, obviously, if you really like this video, please hit the like button and let me know through comments below there that if any kind of doubt is there, and please do subscribe the channel if you are new to the channel, and press the bell icon so that every video could be reached with notification. This much for today, guys. In the next video, we will be discussing about competitive coding, the importance of competitive coding, how to start, what will be the resources, everything would be discussed in details. So that would be the most important video, I guess, for the whole playlist, because without the coding skills you can't get a job, obviously, right? So that is the most important thing, I guess. So we will be discussing all these things. So stay in touch and subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for sure, otherwise you might not get the notification of those videos, upcoming videos. So this is the thing. See you on the next video.